Hey Flosstube, it's Alicia. How are you guys today? It is April 16th and it is Flosstube number 26. I looked before I come on, right? I was thinking this morning. Well, no, this afternoon. It's 4 o'clock. Feels like morning. I finished getting everything packed up and labeled and ran it to the post office this morning, and then went and grabbed groceries, and then my hood wasn't latching properly, so I went and see my husband and borrowed some Move It out of his truck and got that fixed, and then came home, unpacked groceries, did the lunch thing, got my daughter to help me put the kids to bed, and now it's 4 o'clock, right? Still morning. I haven't done much today. What have I been doing today? I just told you. How's your guys' day going? Are you guys getting things you wanted done? Or are you relaxing? Maybe even getting a little bit of stitching in? I haven't got any stitching in yet today. But I will. Because I got that big order from Monique shipped out. So now I'm just waiting for more stuff to get in so I can ship out my other packages. So I have been... Oh, I'll show you guys these. I have to hide them all so I don't change my scissors all the time. These are titanium stork, and I think I have one more in stock. Super cute. Go that way, right? I've gotten a little bit of stitching done on these guys, and I took a before picture, so that means I can actually count the stitches for this big guy towards my game, because I took a before picture before I started stitching. One of these days I will have it all down pat. Not today, but one of these days. So that's where I am on that. These are sulky threads, 2/2 on 28 count. And this was baby chicks. I still have not looked up what pattern that was for. I should. It's a Glendon Place pattern. I'll write that down. I get things done when I write it down. Baby chick fabric. This is a fabric flare fabric, right? It's brighter yellow than that. It's not showing up very well. That's okay. So I got that done, and the pattern is this, in case you're not sure of the pattern. It's called More Chocolate Bunnies, and it's a hands-on design. And I really wanted to stitch this one so bad because it comes with the sulky. You can buy it with the sulky thread pack. You don't have to stitch it with it. She includes the DMC conversion. So she gives you the sulky thread pack number, and then in brackets she puts the DMC conversion that she's done, not someone else. So those are the lovely threads. Whoa, figure out where my camera is. See? They are going to be great. I started stitching again. So I started it in December so that I would have no new starts in 2020. And so I started it in December, just threw a few stitches in, and then started stitching it again on Easter, because I was like, you know, it'd be kind of nice to stitch a bunny themed, Easter themed cross stitch at Easter time. I've been watching Flosstube. I've been getting caught up. While I feed the baby or whatever, I've had it on. So I got caught up on Michelle Bendy. I've one that she just put out in the last half an hour or so. And then Carolyn from Off the Grid Needle Arts. And I'm caught up on Ellen. So Hilma put a link in my video a couple videos ago for Crash Test Dummies, because that is where Helen is the lead singer for them. And I gotta go watch the video because I am pretty sure I should know songs from Crash Test Dummy. I remember the name, but I can't think of any songs off the top of my head. But I wanted to review it or listen to it with my husband around, because I'm pretty sure my husband's going to be like, oh yeah, I know them, right? So I want to do it when my husband's around, and I was like, yeah, I got a link, but I want to listen to it when you're around, because the lead singer from that band is a cross stitcher, and she has videos, and it's really cool. And she's Canadian, right? Like, how cool is that? I mean, I guess I think it's so cool because I kind of feel like Canadian's small compared to US or Europe even. Even though we have a lot more landmass, we have a lot more spread out communities. So it just, yeah, small town feel. So I have not looked at Helen's, or Helen, where did that come from? Ellen's stuff yet. Hilma put it up for me, but I will go look. I promise. If not, Hilma will give me trouble. She'll be like, Alicia, you said you were gonna go look. I will. I promise. What have I been up to? I've been stitching bunnies. That's it. I haven't touched this in like, I want to say a week. About a week, I think. I love how the yellow, white, cream color looks. I do. I just don't like stitching it as much as I like stitching the blue. The blue seemed to go really fast, but that yellow cream color just seems to be taking forever. I don't have much left. I just have what's in this corner. Whoa. Ah! I'm really lost here. Sorry. I'll look at it, then I can see. So, I'm right around here. I gotta go up around here, come in here. There's a castle in here, so there's some in here. And then there's a piece that comes across here. I really do not have much left. But I haven't touched it in like a week. So I will. I'll get back on it. Go like that, make it easier for you guys to see. Ugh. Disoriented, sorry. So I will get back on it. I think I'm gonna pull it off of this, because that is driving me nuts. I go to stitch and then it like loosens. And I'm not that picky. I don't mind it a little bit loose, but it's the not having a consistent looseness, if that's a good way to put it. It's not. Anyway, not having consistent fabric tension while I'm stitching. I can get used to loose fabric. I can get used to it being loose, but when it changes all the time, it bothers me. I can't get used to it. I can't get in a rhythm, and then I'm adjusting way more than I'm stitching. So, that being said, I will, I think, put it on a frame and set it up and get stitching, because they'll get so much faster when I do. So, because I've been watching all these videos, oh, and that's the other thing, I'm going to say their names wrong. I know I am. Give me a second to look her up. Them. Mother and daughter duo. And I want to say Corinne, but I could very well be wrong. I was totally just watching their videos before I come on here. They just did number 2 a couple days ago. And I think her first name is Corinne, the mom. And then I kind of think the daughter's name is Catherine, but I'm not sure. Grace Notes Stitchers, and it's Corinne. And then I'm not positive on the daughter's name, but I think it's Catherine or something along those lines. But I know Corinne because they bought some Omnique frames and then some Lowry, and I made a grime guard for them. And I was doing project bags, and I have them all cut out ready to go. I haven't finished sewing them, and like I said to Hilma, she's a local stitcher, so I see her more often. I said, you know, I'm not loving sewing anymore. So I'm glad they're not for anybody's order. I know people want to order them once they're finished, and I will put them up once they're finished, but they're not done yet. and I have no desire to go and dig out the sewing machine and do them. So I will. I'll get them done, and then I'll find a super easy pattern and maybe do that. So because I've been watching all these videos, everybody's talking about Stitch Mania, and I made the goal. We'll say goal, because I didn't make a pledge to anybody. I made the goal of no new starts 2020, because I started stitching again a couple of years ago, and within that first few months, I all of a sudden had like 20 plus whips, which was fine, didn't bother me. But now, because I wanted to start this and start that, and I got this and I got that fabric, and I want to do this model stitch, I'm like at 30. No. I'm at like 40. 30 or 40, somewhere in there. I haven't counted. Yeah, that's a lot for me, right? Because I don't have a whole lot of stitching time lately. And so I don't want to keep adding. So I said, okay, 2020, no new starts. Let's see if I can do this. Wish me luck, right? So Mania is all about starting all the things. So I am going to do monogamous. I'm going to do monogamous May for Mania. The other big thing about May is my mom is the one that taught me how to stitch, and she passed away 7 years ago, I think. And she taught me how to stitch years ago. I was like 17, 18, around the same age as Corinne's daughter. And I mean, I loved it. I was enjoying it. And I was working on a project when I was in my 20s, when I was pregnant with my daughter, and we had to go and get her checked out at a children's hospital. I say children's hospital because I went to the women's hospital, right joint to the children's hospital in Vancouver, to get her checked to make sure she didn't have spina bifida. On our trip down there, my dad got a weird phone call. And then we were done the appointment. We were going to head back, and I was like, oh, I'll call my mom and let her know everything's all right, because they were split up. So I was with my dad and my stepmom. And my dad's like, nope, I'll call her. Okay, that's not normal. They've been split up for 20 years at that point. I was like, yeah, okay, I guess. It turns out that my grandpa, my mom's dad, had passed away the day before or whatever when we were on our way down there. So that was hard because I got along really well with my grandfathers. I had four. So I was heartbroken, of course, right? He was my grandfather and I was 20. But it was harder for me in stitching aspect because I was working on a project with big cats. I think it was all Siberian tigers, or it might have been like snow leopard and Siberian tiger, like combination. I can't remember. I know it was big cats. And he was asking me about it a couple weekends before that because I just started stitching again. And he was asking me about it and was curious, and his granddaughter was doing it, so his granddaughter was telling him all about it. And I was stitching it on the way down to Vancouver, and my dad got that weird phone call, and I just put it down, and then I didn't pick it up again. We were too busy, and then I couldn't pick it up again. So I took a 12-year hiatus from stitching, and in that time, my mom still stitched until she passed away. She actually brought out this project. It was not on this fabric, but she had brought out the pattern and said, oh, look, I'm going to stitch this for Ciara, my older daughter. And do you think she'll like it? And so on and so forth. I'm like, yeah, she'll like it. She was 6 or 7 at the time. She's going to like a lady in a unicorn. I'm sorry. I did. If she doesn't, I do. Anyway, so she was going to stitch it for her, and she didn't even get a stitch in. She got sick and then ended up passing away. When I was going through stuff after my stepfather gave me stuff to sell, I seen the package with all the charms in a box. And I said, I know what that is. So I grabbed it. And then I debated. I have an aunt who stitches, and she did a lot of stitching for me, like pillows and that for me to have as a kid. And I mean, I'd sit there and admire the stitches and all that. So I know I've told you guys that a few times. So if you're new to the channel, that's news, but the other people know it's old news. Either way, I was like, well, I could send the pattern to my aunt, and she could do it in lieu of my mom for my daughter. And I was like, no, I kind of want to do it. So I'm slowly working on it. It's not that it's hard to stitch. I don't think a lot about my mom or anything when I'm stitching it. I do want to stitch it in memory of her for my daughter, but I feel it's more a neat thing, a neat connection to have, that she showed me the pattern, intended it for my daughter, and I'm going to be doing it for my daughter. That to me is really neat. I don't get sad when I'm stitching it, but it's 18 count, and although I'm learning to love 18 count, I haven't loved it yet. I'm getting there. I might be there eventually, but not yet. Either way, so I have that one. And so with my mom having passed 7 years ago, and her birthday being in May, and May being mania, and me wanting to only stitch on one thing, all that put together, I was like, I would kind of like to pick a project that reminds me of my mom, so that I can stitch it in May and have that reminder every day. Now, the reason I say every day is because I was like, oh, I'll just do monogamous May, and I'll only stitch on that in May. And then I thought about it for 5 minutes, like actually sat down and thought about it. It's like, I don't like to be tied down to one thing, first. Second, I have my hands-on design year-end celebration a month early that I'm working on, so I won't be starting June until May 1st. Can't only stitch on one project in May if I have another one that I already have lined up. And that won't take, well, we hope that won't take all month. So, I decided what I'm going to do is monogamous May. So I have this one, I'm just going to show you this one for now. One of my Remember Your Mother projects will be my focus. But I will still be able to, pick up the bunnies if I want to pick up the bunnies, or get my June stitched up because I can start that May 1st. All that kind of stuff. I'll be able to work on other things, but I will have a focus project directed more in memory of my mom that I work on a little bit every day. If I only get 5 minutes to stitch that day, it's going to be on that project. That's my plan for monogamous May. A little bit different than everybody else's monogamous May. So I figured I better look at my WIPs. I'm not going to run through all of them, but if you're new to my channel and new to my website, you might not know my focus when I opened my website. So my focus was not to sell all the cross-stitch things. My focus was to bring fabric flare fabrics to Canada, because when I found them, they were very hard to come by. You could maybe get 1 or 2 prints from another store, but not very many. So sorry. I wanted to bring fabric flare to Canada and let people know what they're missing out on. It's really neat stuff. Fabric flare fabric, sorry, it sounds like someone's pulling in, they're not, is white on the back. No matter what's going on the print, it's white on the back because it is printed on the fabric. It's a lot like your sewing cotton and stuff that has nice prints that everybody's designed. Same thing. It's printed on the fabric. It's not hand dyed. It looks hand dyed sometimes, depending on the print design. It is not iron on. It is not, I don't know, vinyl iron on. No. Some of the designs have a gold paint or something on them that can be hard. It can fill the holes of the fabric, and you'll have to use a sharp to stitch through it if you need to. But if it's just, you know, the fabric, then it's not. It is literally just print. So this one is a model stitch, but that's okay. My aunt, the one I talked about, stitching all those pillows and stuff for me when I was younger, she is stitching. She might be done hers, but I think she is done everything but Corinthian beads, maybe. I'll have to ask her. So she is stitching, or stitched, this one on a piece of, I think, blue fabric. I haven't seen a picture in a while. I am stitching it on snowy tracks. See the little snow prints, feet prints in the snow, boot prints. So I am stitching Canadian Beauty on this fabric. And she is looking great. Sorry, I'm trying to get adjusted. I know, you guys don't want to look at me. She is looking amazing on this fabric. She just bounces right off. And that's what I like. When I'm trying to pick a fabric to go with the design, I want the contrast so that you can see, wow, there's the print, there's the fabric, and there's the stitching. So that's my not quite quarter of a, I want to say quarter of a page, but it's not a page. They're huge. Quarter of the pattern started. It's way more busy on the bottom. There's way more going on. So there's that one. And then this one is another model stitch, so that you guys could see what you can do with the fabric. Because some people go, you want me to not stitch this or that? Yeah, skip that. Just stitch the focus of the pattern, right? So this is Little Red Riding Hood Heed, background removed, on Misty Forest. Now, something else I do is I serge the edges, generally, especially now that I have a serger. So, I'll back up a little bit so you can see more. See, you still can't see the bottom. Just you still can't see the bottom. This one's huge. So, I am stitching the Heed background removed on this one. And to me, that forest looks a lot like the actual picture. It's not the same, but it looks very similar. So to me, I was like, that would look great. So that's my stitching on it. And as you can see, I don't stitch any of the trees or anything like that. I just stitch the focus of the thing. So this was my first Heed start. So it's not even a true Heed, but it's my first one, designed by Heed, and it's looking great. Like, yay! This is not my usual artwork either. This is not something I'd be like, oh, that needs to hang in my house. No. But I will, or I'll give it to someone who would really like that artwork, because I'm stitching it for the purpose of showing what you can do with our Fabric Flare fabrics. So there's that one. Those two are not in the running. My Lady and a Unicorn. This is just blue fabric. It's kind of got a white modeling for clouds, but it's called blue. It's one of the first Fabric Flare designs. And so the running will be in between this one, My Lady and a Unicorn, or let me put these back in their box. Oh, if you don't know what Little Red Riding Hood or Canadian Beauty look like, I guess I should show you them. There's Canadian Beauty. So my aunt's doing it on a similar fabric to that blue. And Little Red Riding Hood Alright, let's find some stuff that would remind me of my mom. Let's go to one of my first, oh, here is My Lady and the Unicorn. That's the picture. So, as you can see, I'm working away on the clouds. So, this one, I have a tiny start on it. So, I would honestly probably restart this one if I decide to do this one. Because everybody's talking about using the fadeaway or wash away markers. I started this, I want to say 7 years ago. Just after my mom passed away, I was walking around Michael's and I'm like, oh, cross stitch. Oh, that's a cute pattern in that magazine. Oh, that's a cute piece of fabric. That floss will work. This floss will work. And everyone was talking about doing the pens on fabric. I drew those on like 7 years ago. Sorry, this probably goes this way. Nope, it goes that way. I drew those on like 7 years ago. Okay, maybe we'll give it less time. We'll say 3 years ago. They haven't faded. A little bit in here, but they haven't really faded. And considering that's all I'm done, I might just restart it. Because what I'm doing is stitching this butterfly. But instead of doing all the reds and yellows and all that, they're gorgeous, but I wanted to do a blue, kind of like the morph butterfly, the blue butterfly. When I think of my mom, that's a butterfly that I think of for her. That's why when I started the company, there was blue butterfly, memory of my mom. So I was going to do like dark blue in the center and work my way out to lighter blues. And so I was going to color convert what I have. All that being said, you can see that pen seems to have stained the fabric. So I might just restart it, and I will probably just start it on white. I don't think I'll pick a fabric flare fabric. I think I'll just go with a white. And I still have all the floss set aside, so I mean, I may lose what, a yard, maybe 2, a black thread, but that's okay. So that one's in the running. My Lady and the Unicorn or butterfly conversion. Or let's look. I'll put pictures of those probably in the Facebook group. I'll make a poll and I'll put those pictures. Let's see if there's any other that I would say remind me of my mom. I can't think of any more off the top of my head, so I'm just looking. Oh, there's this one. Sorry. I'm just about at the bottom, I promise. So, just trying to make sure I have all of them. Yeah, I have all of them. So this would be the only other one that I would consider. Now, this one, again, is a model stitch. The purpose of it was a model stitch. But when I seen this print of the fabric, it made me think of my mom right away because she loves blue and flowers, and she would have been all over this fabric. So when I seen this fabric, I was looking for a design to put on it to showcase the fabric, and I found this. Right? What is that? That is the start of Lady Silhouette 11. So all you do is stitch the black. That's fast, right? Like Carolyn said, that's a day. Not more than a day. So I have started, and to me those flowers look a lot like the flower in her hat. So I was like, wow, that goes so great together. So we will decide which one we're doing for Monogamous May. Now, what happens if, I all of a sudden end up with 10 hours a day to stitch? I know, that's funny, right? And we picked this one and I finish it. Well, then I'll go to number 2. So, we have 3. And we're going to vote. And I'll put a poll up in the Facebook group. Actually, I'll find out how to put a poll up in my very first blog post on the website. Does that work for you guys? Right? Then, if you only go to YouTube and the website, that's okay. You don't have to seek me out on Facebook if you don't want to. So, there's my Lady and the Unicorn. Or the butterfly converted to blue. Or Lady Silhouette. I will put up the pictures with the fabric and what I have done. And we will vote, and we will figure out what I'm going to do for Monogamous May Focus Project. I will still do the occasional stuff on the back, work on other stuff, but this will be my focus project. And I think on the 31st, which would have been her birthday, let me double check that. It was 30th or 31st, I think 31st. I'll ask my aunt. My grandma will kick my butt. I will stitch on her birthday. I will only stitch on that project. I won't start any others or work on any others for her birthday. Right? Why not? So, I will put these up on a very first blog post, and I will figure out how to make it so that we can vote. I don't know if people can comment on the blog post section of the website, but I will get started on setting all that up. Alright, I just used up a half an hour of your guys' time. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, comment down below. I answer. And hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys are staying safe. I went into town today to do the mailing, and I went into town on Tuesday to pick up. But that's all I've been in town. I did my shopping today, so I don't have to go back into town until next week sometime, unless I have to go pick up a parcel. If I do go into town, I try and go first thing in the morning, which is why I said I was done first thing in the morning, or, late at night. But I wasn't done my labels last night until like 10 o'clock. Nobody's open anymore. So I had to wait till morning. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys want me to bring in anything, or if you want me to seek out and see if I can find a supplier for anything, please message me. Let me know. I am waiting on stuff to arrive. I have a bunch of packages that have just now crossed the border, according to tracking on the website. So they left wherever they were like the 7th or the 1st for some of them, and they just crossed the border like today or yesterday. So I'm like, really? So it's moving slow, but it is coming. It's on its way. Alright, have a great day, guys, and message me if you need anything. Comment down below, like, subscribe. That way you know when I did my new video. I'm generally doing them every day. The odd day it gets too busy with the kids. But I am happy to answer any questions. Email me, comment down below, or post on Facebook, or PM me on Facebook. I have my phone all the time. Alright, guys, have a great day. Stay safe.